You've tuned in to the chipsgrooveradio podcast with hosts Mike and Jon. Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm your host, Mike, and with me today, of course, is Jon. And today, we are talking about Turtles in Time for the SNES. How are you doing today?
Cowabunga, dude.
Cowabunga. I would expect nothing less in this
Have you had your
episode.
pizza today?
I haven't.
I had pizza today, actually. I literally did have pizza today.
I did have it yesterday for lunch, a couple pieces. Yeah. I mean, you know, you're reviewing the soundtrack based on turtles who gorge themselves on pizza. You have to have it somewhere.
That's right.
So yeah, we are covering one of my favorites of the SNES era, Turtles in Time. Obviously an adaptation of the arcade cabinet. And this one brought that feel of the multiplayer beat-em-up, side-scrolling beat-em-ups kind of to the home console for the first time. Not the first time, but, you know, you had your Final Fights from Capcom, but this one just felt a little bit more fluid and fun.
Yeah, much more refined.
Yeah, I think they really nailed that cabinet experience. In fact, I bought the arcade 1-up redesign of it. It's a good time. Yeah,
and I know I had played a Ninja Turtle side-scroller, beat 'em up at a friend's house, but I don't remember if it was Turtles in Time. It must have been Turtles in Time, because...
well, they did have a couple.
Yeah.
If it was Super Nintendo, it probably was this. The first arcade cabinet that they did also got a port, and they just called it Turtles 2, I think, on the NES. But so first impressions, Jon. What
yeah, I'm gonna hire a big band, and then I'm gonna have them redo this entire album, and just have them throw a couple solos in, and it'll be a good time, because it is just big band all over the place. There's a couple of songs in it, a couple tracks that are more traditional SNES chiptune style.
Fair.
But the vast majority are just big band bops, or they're swing. One of the other.
They went a really wild direction with this one, and I think one of my favorite adjectives to describe this particular iteration of the soundtrack is just thick. And it's so palpable when you're listening to it. There is so much going on, and the percussion, the bass drum and everything, it's just in your face, and it just feels very dense. But I think that's part of what makes it fun, and that big bandy feel is perfect for Ninja Turtles. I mean,
yeah, it's a very funky. I mean, Ninja Turtles, they're funky. I mean, the opening is very much Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meets Mega Man, kind of. It has that kind of Mega Man feel to it, with the TMNT theme song behind it. But as soon as you get to Big Apple is just a funk groove. Big band, man.
I love it. So we're going to go into a brief history. I'm not sure we need to really do this, but just to be kind to anyone who may not know the story of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, for the sake of the cartoon and original movies anyway, they're products of a chemical that leaked into the sewers, and it gives them the ability to grow, and they learn to speak, and they developed martial arts techniques from their mentor Splinter, a giant rat who had the same shit happen. And they've trained with him for their entire lives to become the saviors of the city. New York, I believe. They fight crime with their signature weapons, a katana for Leonardo, a bow staff for Donatello, nunchaku for Michelangelo, and sai for Raphael. This game is video evidence of some of their crime-stopping techniques.
Were you, obvious question. What turtle were you?
You know, as a kid, I was Raphael.
Really?
Now it was Donatello.
Yeah, I was a Donatello.
It's about the distance. You got to create your distance.
Got to have that bow staff.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, here we are. I think this is just a fun soundtrack. I'm just going to leave it there for now. But I think the first track I want to mention is, in fact, Big Apple 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great introduction to the game. It's got a great kick drum, and that hi-hat just gets us going quickly with the brass section. I really like it. The building to that main theme, it just takes off after that. And you're in New York City. You're fighting foot soldiers on the top of scaffolding near the Statue of Liberty. It's an interesting level.
Yeah, just the, like you said, the it gets grooving right away. I mean, the bass line in this is just so sick, and yeah, it's a happy big band tune riding through New York, kicking the crap out of some ninjas, and yeah, it's good.
I think it sets the mood immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's, you know you're in for a good time. Obviously, you're playing a Ninja Turtles game. It can't be too serious, but
right.
This just captures the moment, and I think it's so fun and so entertaining. You don't miss a beat. You're immediately into the action, and yeah, the music helps with that. You're tapping along, and it's just a good time.
Yeah, and it has that hidden, not hidden, but it has the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme song, kind of swingy version of it. And there's the hi-hat, the bass hi-hat drum. And yeah, it's just you're really grooving when as soon as you start this game.
Mm-hmm. What is one of the tracks that stood out to you?
Well, despite the very through line of it being a kind of a big band jazzy funk type of soundtrack,
mm-hmm.
I actually really did enjoy the Technodrome Let's Kick Shell.
Oh yeah,
as more of a classic SNES chip tune.
Gotcha.
But it has just a real fun high note register drive, and yeah, it's just a fun sounding level song just to go around and kick ass. Yeah.
As you will guess, audience, this game doesn't have much depth to it.
It's just punching stuff.
It's just punching, kicking, swinging. But yeah, I've actually got that song listed myself. It's very electronic. It's got a different feel, I would say, than maybe the rest of the album. But the electric guitars that come in kind of give it that edge. Up until this point, we hadn't heard anything quite like that. Yeah. I think it's kind of hinting at, you're in the enemy's domain and,
mm-hmm.
Shit's going to get a little crazy here. And I think there's a lot of that dynamic. Some electronica as the brass still remains the driving section. And I think that's the big thing with this album is there's a lot of brass, lot of that, big banding stuff.
That high brass just piercing through the orchestra, so to speak. That kind of big band feel there, but the guitar sections are really driving, and really this entire song is just driven by a strong bass line that just keeps grooving all the way through.
Yeah,
and it almost has like a pop song quality to it. Like you could put lyrics over it and it would be a pop song.
Very much so. Good point. I think a lot of the writing on this album is very, like we say, big bandy, but there is that pop element to where you could see these being actual songs. And yeah, Technodrome's a good one for that. Now, my personal favorite, ladies and gentlemen, Sewer Surfin'. This is my favorite song on the album.
Yeah.
Excellent. The intro is immediately setting you up for like a wild ride. You can feel the groove of it and imagine the game really, really well just hearing the song. Like if you're not playing it, bass plays a massive part in this song. And as you listen, the bass is just going nuts. It sounds really good. Instead of simply driving the song, the backbone, it plays an active role in what the guitars and the horns are doing. It even mimics them at times. And when you get to the end of the verses, you get those octave notes that really set it apart. And I love it. The bass makes itself known. I can't get enough of this one. This one is,
and just I love the whole that very big band thing of like there are these like three notes that the entire orchestra hits at the same time. The dun 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 dun. It's just like so. I love it, and yeah, like you said, the bass line is feeding into the melody and then backs off and does the rhythm, the off note synth kind of drum that you get that kind of accentuates some of the horn section. It's great. It's just a solid tune.
Very much so. How about you? Your next pick, sir.
I'm next. One was interesting. So Prehistoric Turtlesaurus, which funnily enough, I was listening to this. It kind of has the level intros, and they don't do the rhyming thing. So they say, I forgot how it says it, but it doesn't like rhyme. It's very specifically, this is supposed to kind of rhyme, but they don't rhyme it in the level intro. It's kind of funny. Anyways, that's besides the point. Maybe I'll talk to them. I'll talk to the composers and let them know.
How dare you?
The voice actor or whatever. But no, it actually starts to remind me of a Cybernator track. And it actually made me look it up, the composers, and see if one of them was on Cybernator, but they aren't. No. But it just reminds me that I don't know. It just something about it reminded me of Cybernator. That kind of,
is it the timpani, like the deep bass drums and stuff?
Yeah, the deep bass and the kind of almost militaristic tune to it. Yeah, it just reminded me of it, and just it's a great, almost funky tune that has again a great bass line, but has those long note horn section and just a driving bass through the entire thing. It's great.
Yeah, I really do like Prehistoric Turtlesaurus because of the fact of the introduction of the timpani or the toms, the deep toms. I think it gives the album, it makes it turn a corner a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's still the same album, still very fun loving, but at the same time, I think those drums are new to the album at this point.
Yeah.
And they really help sell that mood of fighting back. The drums always, at least in this level, they indicate to me that kind of prehistoric nature of the level. Like it feels a little bit more authentic.
Yeah. It also feels like, so like all of the all the tunes up to this point have been kind of fun loving and high energy and all that. And this feels more like, okay, we gotta like
a little more serious.
We have to fight.
Yeah.
we're in the shit here. Like, but it's not.
We just got teleported to prehistoric times. Shit's going down.
Yeah.
We got to get back home. Oh, turtles.
Oh, turtles.
Actually, to kind of piggyback on that, I think another great song for the drums is Bury My Shell at Wounded Knee.
Is that offensive? I think that's kind of offensive. You know,
I mean, it was the 90s. Maybe. What are you going to do? No, I'm with you.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I won't comment on that. I don't know. I'm sure it's offensive somehow, and I apologize for that.
Well, we didn't do it.
We didn't do it. But what I was going to say is the galloping drums and galloping pretty much everything throughout this song.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan as a metal fan of galloping licks. I think this song it's anything but metal, but at the same time, it's the instruments, especially the percussion at the beginning. They paint that picture of fighting on a moving train, and the galloping is most likely a nod to the rhythmic sounds of the train while it's moving down the track. Oh, and by the way, foot soldiers hop onto the train via horse.
Right.
So, I think it's a cool little twist on the game. There aren't that many levels that, unlike the Prehistoric Turtlesaurus, where I think it really represents what's actually happening on the screen. So I think this one's just a little bit different.
I actually looked to, because I hadn't remembered any of the levels if I had played it, but I was listening to this song. I'm like, I gotta see what this level looks like, and it was interesting because it did like really really fit with that train theme. The foot soldiers like jumping on as if they were train robbers. Yeah, it's and obviously the hey sound is fun. It's a fun addition to the tune. Yeah, it's a good driving kind of. You can imagine, this being in a Western and you're riding into town or riding from town to town, being chased or something.
Yeah, and they throw in like the main theme of the song also feels very spaghetti Western.
Yeah,
I think they captured that feel a little bit with the main theme too. So. What about you, sir? Your next song. We don't have to do too many more. I have maybe two I was going to mention, but
kind of the next one. Yeah, I've. Well, we'll see. We'll see what you say. I'm sure we probably agree. But next one is the Starbase where no turtle has gone before.
A little bit more dramatic, people.
Yeah, great title. But it's bringing it all back. It has that off-key TMNT theme. Mm-hmm. It's a very epic song. It really drives home that it sounds like it's probably near the climax of the.
You are approaching the end of the game at this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it has that theme to it. And I love the another great bass line in this where it just kind of drives it along. But the horn section in this is great, especially when it cuts, it crescendos and then cuts into the next chorus and has that kind of that slide up to the tone, like almost like a trombone slide. It just gets you like, good. Yeah, I wanna kick some ass now.
Yeah, this song, the battle has definitely intensified. Like you were saying, it feels, and you didn't even know this, but it feels like you're getting towards the climax of the game. This is shit's hitting the fan. And I think the fact that you are in the final stages of the game, the music exemplifies that perfectly. You've got a lot of crunchy guitars and hints of that main theme peppered in there, which, if on any typical soundtrack, this one, the main theme comes in and out throughout almost every song. But for this song in particular, it feels a little bit more genuine. And when you hear that kind of cue in a normal soundtrack, it's like, okay, so things have kind of come full circle. We're almost done. And it feels a little more genuine in this one.
And it's interesting that they chose to have it be off key like that. I'm not sure what's happening in the actual game, but I would imagine that it is you're fighting through an enemy base or something. So maybe it's a bit more sinister,
Yeah, you're in this enemy base, and this is the level where Krang shows his sorry face at the end, and you kick his ass.
Yeah, kick that brain.
For me, I think the next song I wanted to mention, one of these standout tracks for me on the entire album. It's so different than just about everything else. I think Neon Night Riders is the one I wanted to showcase here. A lot of great bass lines, yes, but the brass really sits out on this one. We have a synthesizer effect that takes the lead, and while the bass is in fact going nuts on the low end, it's more electronic in nature. And I think there's not a lot of drumming. There's a lot of hi-hat accents, but other than that, it's really driven by the synthesizer. And if there's anything that helps give this song a futuristic feel, it's the absence of these things. And I think that it's really cool how they chose to do a mostly synthesized song. They keep the drums mostly out of it. No guitars really. And then it's just a futuristic tune, and I think they captured that pretty well.
Yeah, it just starts with a pure funk bass line, and it makes me think that I am cruising through the city at night in my drop top, just chilling, just cruising through, man.
In this case, it's a hovering skateboard.
Well, close enough.
You're cruising with the wrong thing.
You're right. It has that like techno quality to it without having the a lot of drums involved. Mm-hmm. So just the hi-hat,
and the
high synthesizer really cuts through, and yeah, it's great. I think the last song for me probably would be Hard Ending, Character Roll Call.
Oh,
because it's just like a fun swing track. It's probably I think there was another track that was swing, but this one is just, it's like Brian Setzer orchestra kind of stuff. It is I can imagine the composers having a hell of a good time making this track.
yeah.
It's just the in, like we've said 1,000 times, that the bass line is the through line for this. It's a great synth bass that just elevates the kind of big band, swing band nature of this song. Yeah, it's great.
It's not a terribly long game. It's not a terribly intricate game. So when we say that the album really meshes, every song goes together, every song really captures the experience, I don't think that's unnatural. I think that's very easy to do with a short game, but at the same time, they do it pretty well. This is a very different type of soundtrack for the Super Nintendo. There weren't a lot of big bandy albums I can think of. I mean, I could be wrong, but for Nintendo, Super Nintendo, I think it was a very daring choice. And it shows a lot of skill, a lot of technical skill that I think the composers, who I do want to give credit to, Mitsuhiko Izumi and Tsutomu Gouda, they composed the arcade. And then it was arranged and brought to the Super Nintendo by Kazuhiko Uehara and Harumi Ueko. They took over and made the soundtrack work with the SNES, and I think they did a great job, all of them.
Yeah.
The arcade cabinet can obviously do a lot more than the Super Nintendo could. So the drums were definitely more realistic. The synth was a little more crisp, and the overall tone of the game was very, very much a little bit more sophisticated. But at the same time, I think the Super Nintendo version, they did a really good job bringing it over and making sure that it just fit.
It had that same at least had the same feel of song. I think, like you said, it's tough to think of a SNES game that has this kind of funky big band sound to it, and does it well enough that you could imagine any kind of real big band playing it, and it would sound great. It's a really unique album for sure.
Yeah. The only song that's coming to mind right now, and that's because I did it for the show, was Armored Armadillo for Mega Man X. There's a lot going on in that song, and it sounds very big bandy. But yeah, I think anytime a composer takes that leap to kind of throw all these instruments together on a system that can only handle so much, it's very, very talented and very courageous of them. And sometimes I would imagine it doesn't work, but this one comes out pretty well. I really enjoy this soundtrack overall. I think there are a lot, the songs we didn't cover today, they were edged out by some of the ones we mentioned, but there's also a lot more to this album in terms of segue tunes. There's a lot going on this album that's not here. So
yeah,
I think we've really only dipped our toes in it. And I think everything on this album's worth a listen, especially if you're a big fan of chip tunes like we are. Yeah. Do you have any closing thoughts, sir? Anything that we haven't said already?
I need more pizza.
You do need more pizza.
Other than that, no. I think we said it all. It's a very unique SNES soundtrack, and I kind of looked up some of the things that the two composers worked on, and I'll have a listen through. But The main ones were Metal Gear Solid 2 and Batman Returns, and those are the two big things that stuck out. It's just it's a solid track. It's solid. It's 30 minutes of fun, and you want to put this on and you want to get something done for 30 minutes, you'll blaze right through it.
It's a good time. I made my wife listen to it a couple months ago while we were doing chores around the house. Threw this on the turntable, a giant pixelated pizza.
Yeah.
That being said, the album itself was sold by iam8bit.com. I don't believe you can get it there anymore, so you will have to get it third party, but you can find them for a decent price. It's a cool album. It's got all the main songs you're going to want to hear from this album, and should be relatively cheap, maybe $35.
Nice.
So yeah, that was our quick romp through a turtle-infested New York City. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. John, if you would like to say goodbye to the fine people.
Goodbye, fine people.
Very, very literal.
Oh, yeah. That's me. No, it was great. It was probably 7 pizza slices out of 8, I think.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I actually had a similar score. 7 pizza slices out of 8. Correct.
Yep.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you liked what you heard, please rate and subscribe on your podcast app of choice. Also, check out Magus Media's other podcast, This Is Not Happening, Another X-Files podcast, for complete episode breakdowns, insightful banter, and inane babble. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.